cloud. All right. And let me go share screen. Bum, bum, bum. And I thought I had everything pulled up ready to go, but apparently I didn't. So hang on. There it is. All right. While I am multitasking here, I would love to introduce the two lovely women who you cannot see, but you can hear their amazing voices. We have Dr. Marcia Haggerty with us today. And Dr. Marcia Haggerty, as the prefix implies, is a medical doctor. She works in Bethel, Alaska, and she spends time between Bethel and Seattle, which is their other home. And she is married to an amazing man, Lonnie Hawley, and they have a daughter, Kimi. She does everything from working Emerge to delivering babies to hopping on planes to fly out to small villages to help people up in Alaska. So she's seen it all. She's done it all up there, and is just an amazing human being. And we are so glad to have her here. And joining her, and again, you can't see this, from the other side of the country, on the East Coast in New Jersey, is the amazing Annette Forsyth. And Annette, besides being president of PAC when her kids were going through school and raising 3 daughters and having grandchildren, also holds together a physical therapy practice that she is the backbone of, and make sure that everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing, and everybody gets in on their appointments and does all the finances and all those things. So she is a huge cog in that wheel. And both have been members with Growth U and Mastery for as long as I have. We've kind of all joined around the same time. And both Annette and Marcia have led programs. They've advised programs. And there is a program coming up, which we'll allude to shortly. And now I'm going to share screen and see if we can get it up here. Here we go. All right. And so today we're just going to speak to 2 models, which will give you a deeper understanding of maybe how this thing works, right? This little thing that sits in between our ears. Sometimes it runs automatically for us and does things that maybe we don't want in our lives. And there's other times that our conscious brain, right? We have a conscious and an unconscious brain, because the conscious brain's usually running all the automated stuff, including our habits and patterns. And the conscious brain is the one that allows us to make decisions and potentially change those things in which we do want to change so we can get what we want. And I will stop the chat there, but I'm going to go to the first model that we're going to speak to, and it is AUA. And I will stop talking and I will turn it over to the amazing Annette to share a little bit about the AUA. And then we will move on to the law of belief, and we will turn it over to Marcia at that time. So Annette, if you want to unmute and maybe share a little bit about AUA and anything that comes up for you.
Okay, well, the AUA is one of my favorite models that's part of the Growth U community. I use it every day for every part of my world, whether it's about accepting my own behaviors or my relationships with other people. I mean, if you look at the words alone at face value, accept, understand, and appreciate, it's almost self-explanatory. You know, we all love to come from a place of, it's so important to come from a place of love in our daily operations. And so when you have patterns, old patterns that, you know, we inherit a lot of our patterns as children. And then when we reach an age, I guess towards early teens, we start building our own or adding on to the ones that we've inherited. And in those patterns, a lot of us I find it very common that a lot of us come up feeling like we've fallen short.
Annette, I'm
Right,
going to
that-
interrupt you for 1 second because you're doing beautiful. And I think I figured out the system. I made you co-host, so try turning your camera on because I can now see Marcia. So I think that worked. And hey, oh, you were there for a second. And she's
Am I
back.
there?
Oh,
Wow.
beautiful. Lovely to see your faces. And I know that people that are on also enjoy seeing your faces. So
Oh,
yay.
well, thank you. So, you know, we just have to sit back and allow ourselves to accept the fact that, number one, we're human. Two, that we have imperfections. But when we can accept that this is who we are and this is the way it is, then we can understand that, you know, okay, so we have patterns and we have the choices of how we're going to let those patterns affect us. We get to choose. And when you can understand that something is a pattern versus a behavior, you can appreciate that. Again, it comes back to, you can appreciate the fact that you're human, and but that you're coming from a neutral place, and that you have love in your heart. I've used this for my own patterns. I was on a call earlier that we were talking about patterns that we're getting in our way currently. And you know, I've been on a health journey for the last few months. And those old pattern monsters that say, you know, you don't deserve this, you're not good enough, they've been popping up. And so I've had to accept that they're just a pattern. I'm not my pattern. This is not who I am. It's just a pattern that's trying to keep me safe, but I don't have any use for it anymore. And when I could understand that these were just old behaviors, old patterns that were coming back to, so to speak, to haunt me, I could appreciate the fact that, okay, I am worth more. This is going to happen. And I can appreciate that. Okay, yeah, mistakes can happen, but I have the wherewithal. I can appreciate the fact that it exists, but I have the wherewithal to follow through with my journey. I will credit this model, and it sounds a little on the dramatic side. As the mother of daughters, there was a lot of drama, so I guess I'm jumping on that bandwagon. I actually credit this model with saving my marriage. My husband is he's a recovering alcoholic. And anybody who has any experience with addiction, whether any kind of addiction, you know, it's an illness. It's not something, the behaviors are there, the problem is there, but it's an illness, and there's really not a lot of control. So when Mark had a relapse after 15 years of sobriety, I just didn't even know where to begin. But I had to accept the fact, I had to wrap my brain around the fact that it was an illness and his behavior were part of the symptoms. And I had to understand that some of this was out of his control. He did not have control over the urge to drink or the behaviors that followed from for drinking too much, from going to an excessive point. And then I could appreciate his efforts that he was making to be sober and to maintain this, you know, to maintain his sobriety, and the work that was involved. I wouldn't, while Mark goes to AA, but I also go to Al-Anon. And one of the most impactful statements that I ever heard in one of those meetings was, try to look at alcoholism through the eyes of the alcoholic. You know, it's very easy to sit back and pass judgment, but to look at the struggle through his eyes, put a whole different perspective on things. And in the midst of this model, accepting, understanding, and appreciation, well, there's also a large piece of responsibility, because when this is about your relationships, when you're pointing at a finger at somebody, you got three more pointing at you. So, along with accepting the illness and the addiction, I had to accept that I was an enabler and codependent and all these words that when they said them to me, you people are crazy. I don't know what you're talking about. So the whole process is, for me, this whole process is part of my everyday, no matter what part, whether it's, if I look at it like an index, right? So the topics, the subtopics, it's constantly rolling through, and through each step until you get to appreciation. And then when you can truly appreciate a situation or a behavior or who you are, then that's where then you can truly love. And if you can't love yourself, you can't love other people. So it's so important to get there where you can find the love in your heart so that you can love others and share with them the beauty of a different perspective. So I think a lot of people probably go through this process without even realizing they're doing it. But it's something to pay attention to. I would venture to say you wouldn't be disappointed if you paid attention to those steps, and it would give you a different perspective on why things are working out for you the way they are.
Beautiful share, and just a real personal, aha of how to utilize it. And I think, for all of us, I think whenever we meet anybody, right, whether it's a husband or just somebody random off the street, knowing that, there's that saying, you got to walk a mile in somebody's shoes to understand like them. And I think being able to accept, understand, and appreciate what journey, what they've been through. We don't know what they've been through, right? They could have been through traumatic events. And so just accepting them for who they are at that point, and to your last point, leading with love in that situation and just treating them as a human being, right? And treating them lovingly and accepting them for who they are, and then appreciating them, right? And there may be lots of understanding that has to go on for us to understand them, but as we slowly dig down and peel back the onion, we go, oh, I understand now. It makes a lot of sense. And knowing that we get to redo this thing as we go through is huge. And I know the next model coming up that Marcia is going to bring us to is a law of belief. And these are just two models of many that we have here at Growth U. And I have a little surprise for everybody at the end, but Marcia, do you want to share your screen, unmute and come on? And anybody watching, if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat and we will respond. We won't react, we will respond, which is another model that we got. All right. The belief model, there it is.
Perfect. Hey, I am so excited to be here with Annette and Paul and all of you. And I love listening and experiencing and using accept and understand and appreciate in all the ways. The way, like you were talking about with a loved one and reaching in and understanding how something can be the way that it is, looking at it through his eyes, and then finding spaces to appreciate. And of course, that leads perfectly into this belief model and the law of belief, which Paul has on his slides, the law of belief. And I believe it is the longer you believe something to be true, it becomes your reality. It's slightly different words than that, but something that you consistently believe to be true becomes real. And this belief model really uses accept and understand and appreciate in many ways. If you are in a space where you feel like you've gotten yourself stuck with decisions you've made, or if you're in a space where you've come so far and you feel like you just can't go further, or whatever your vision for yourself is, or even trying to figure out what your vision is, there is so much juiciness in this living, breathing belief model. So I'm looking forward to sharing it with you. This model is meant to say, the deep meaning behind this model is that our beliefs open up the window of capability. So we have infinite capability. Each of us has limitless capability. And the way to pull away the curtain or to open the door into that space or to be able to see and experience more of what our brains and this experience in life can actually do, we have the power to create our beliefs, to redefine our beliefs. And a belief is something that we're emotionally certain of. Emotional certainty is power. Emotional certainty is fuel for us to get to or through a future vision. So to walk you through, and then I'll come back. Belief, as I just said, is to open capability. Capability opens up the possibilities. If our beliefs that we begin with are aligned with our vision, our results, our GPS points that we've created for ourselves to get to, then once we move through opening up our capability, the strategies will come. This model is meant to say, we don't necessarily have to know the strategies up front. It's the belief that aligns with our results that really can move us through that stage. And the results are one layer or one level, your next step in vision, or getting to your desired results, desired outcomes. The two special spots in here are the scotoma, a blind spot, and the fear. The fear is meant to show you that as the fear is coming in, as you're starting to get into moving towards your vision, that fear, it's created to keep us safe, right? It's created to keep us in certainty, and moving through those fear spots or into areas of uncertainty. That's where we grow and move into our next layers of vision. The scotoma can be seen in a couple of different ways. And it can be that when you haven't opened your belief enough, there are blind spots that cannot get you to align or cannot get you to a strategy space. There can be the power of creating your own scotoma, create your own blind spots when you're so definite that your end result is, that your expected outcome is, it's already done. You can block out all the external noise that's telling you can't get there, right? So let me walk through this in another way. I like to start at the end with the results. If you have been thinking about visions, or you haven't, just think about anything you would like to be or feel or experience, achieve. You can think of some desired outcome of the next layer of your vision. Then you can start with your belief. What belief or beliefs must I have to open up the space of capability, to open up the possibility, the definite possibility of these expected outcomes to happen, these desired outcomes? And you can create, so you can fit your beliefs or expand them further, but fit your beliefs to what your desired outcome is. It makes it so much more probable that you will get there. Some of the ways to create beliefs or alter beliefs, and so here's the other power, right? You have so much power here. Your power to create beliefs is through intentional conditioning, through using programs like Growth U programs, your daily intentional conditioning, or by doing meditation, or by doing daily prayer or journaling, or whatever you choose to intentionally move yourself towards a space of becoming or being. So 1, intentional conditioning. 2, your environment or your community, the peer group, the spaces you spend time, that helps to shape you. And it's also good to be intentional with your environment, intentional about the thoughts that you're around, so that they align with your beliefs as well. And 3, significant emotional events. Now, someone might say, well, I've had a lot of significant emotional events and they were rough. And this is where AUA can come in really powerfully. You can always redefine the meaning of a past significant emotional event, whether it's yourself or another person. You can send love and appreciation and understanding back to that slice of yourself and redefine what it meant in your life or what it could do to propel you forward when you create a new meaning. And as you go through events, significant emotional events, whether they happen to you or you've intentionally put yourself in those spaces, can also form and propel your beliefs. So you've created a result or a desired outcome. You've aligned, thought of, and take time to do this. You won't do it while you're just sitting here listening. You can think of all the different beliefs that you must have, and then work on creating those beliefs daily, intentionally, to give yourself power to get there. And your capability opens. The strategies and the ideas to get you to those results will come. And of course, there's plenty of other models that will help you. And you've already probably heard them about when you have your ups and downs on your way there, and going back to recreating, redefining, putting the pillars up, stronger pillars up under your belief to get you there. So I was going to just share a couple brief stories. One story where I was able to do this before I realized I was doing it, and it continuously is an anchor I can go back to. Just today, I decided to call it a capability anchor. When you can, I think all of us have had an experience where we have just known something to be true, whether it was good or bad, and it happened.
Mhm.
And when I wanted to go to medical school, I was going to medical school because I was just vastly curious about medicine. A high school boyfriend had been in a motorcycle accident. He's in a coma for 7 months. Doctors didn't have a recipe or a plan or a prognosis, and I was so confused. I didn't understand the medical world. I just thought at 18, I thought there were ways to treat this and whatever, or you just knew it wouldn't work. Well, there was none of that. It was all very vague. So I started applying for medical school. I got rejected the first year. I kept doing the process of applying for medical school. I got rejected the second year. You know, people are saying, "Are you sure this is what you want to do? Why do you keep pounding your head against the wall?" Even my dad, who was my biggest believer, it's like, "Oh, I don't want you to get hurt." I was like, "Well, this is ridiculous. I mean, I know I'm a doctor. It's just taking time." There was no one that could knock me down. It was just, you just keep doing the paperwork, keep doing the volunteer work, keep taking the classes, keep taking the tests. I mean, eventually they'll figure it out and the timing will be right. I was so certain. And of course, then I got to go into medical school, and I got to, now I work out in Bush, Alaska, and it's this incredibly fun, fascinating job. And I can use that as an anchor. Whatever you can recall, whatever experience you can recall when you believed it, and no fear could break it. No external motivation, no external anything could break it. I go back to that anchor in the spaces where I have a harder time. When I'm working on enhancing my health, or when I'm in a financial spot and I'm working on really making finances work better, I can go back to that. Now I'm calling it a capability anchor. And it can really boost me up. I'm going to stop talking, actually. I'm going to open it back up to you. And I'm really excited about whatever Paul's about to say, because I get to start guiding folks through a program that he's probably about to tell you about, if you'd like to join us.
All right.
I should unshare.
Share. Thank you.
Yeah. Stop share. All right, it's yours.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody. And I just want to be cognizant of time, because we said we do a half an hour and it's 4:28. As Marcia just mentioned, we do have a program starting on May 8th, and Dr. Marcia is going to be the lead advisor on that program. We would love for you to come join us. And you might be going, "Well, what is this program?" It's called Big Picture 30-Day. And Big Picture looks at different models. And really, it's about kind of formatting the next 6 months to year of your life. It's creating a blueprint to get to places you want to go to. Could be with regard to your health and energy. It could be within relationships, could be with career, could be with finance. Any of these things will fit. And it's whatever you want out of that next 6 months to a year. So for everybody taking it, you all may have a different focus of what you want. And ultimately, it's your program. So you get to do what you want to do. And Dr. Marcia will be there to support you through that, teaching the models, answering questions, aha moments, challenges that you're going through to get this thing reprogrammed, right? We all have one of these, and we like to say, you know, when's the last time, because this just automatically updates apps every 30 days, 20 days, whatever it looks like. It just automatically updates while we sleep at night. Well, the question is, when's the last time we've updated this, right? We might be running on really old apps And some of them may be amazing. Some of them get us what we want, and we're in a great relationship or a great job or whatever that looks like. And if there's something we want more, what do we need to do? We need to put in a new app, and we need to figure out. And the beautiful thing is our programs are designed so that those apps are now scientifically proven that they're psychology based and they work. And we create new patterns and new habits going through 30 days, 45 days, 60 days. This is a 30-day program, and we'd love for you to join us. So I'm quickly just going to share screen and pull up. This is what the program looks like.
While you're pulling it up, I'm just going to also say there's intentional conditioning in here that you can use aside from just the program. There's some audio tracks to practice visualization and practice meditation.
Absolutely. So I'm going to put this link in the chat. And I know if Lonnie's on, you might even put in your link that you created, because it's even better than that one, because it explains what to do. So when you click on register now, if you haven't been a member of GrowthU before, you need to create an account first. So create the account and then you can register. And on top of that, I'm going to pop in, because you came and hung out with us today. We have a little special prize for you, some money coming at you. So if you type in where the code is, and let me just see. Okay, that's there. Let me go share screen again. And when you get to the part where you're going to purchase and it says code or coupon code, you're going to type in the word possibility, all capital, and that'll give you $50 off the program. So we would love to see you. I know Annette and I will be in the program, and a number of others from the GrowthU team, and friends and family. And if you've got somebody you want to do it with, let us know, and we can get them a coupon as well. So I just want to thank everybody for joining us today. Dr. Marcia and Annette, thank you so much for your time and sharing, and just really love both of you. And we'll see you on a call in the next day or two for sure. And for anybody else watching this, if you have taken a GrowthU program before and you're interested in maybe joining us in Mastery, reach out and we can connect you. If you've never taken a GrowthU program, one of the ways to get into Mastery is you have to take a program. So if you haven't taken one before and you were like, I want to take big picture and I want to come hang out with these people, we would love to have you join Mastery with us. And there's a whole community waiting for you that loves to speak this language and just continually learning and upgrading and up-leveling and updating those apps. So that's it. That's what we got today. So have a great rest of your Tuesday evening, wherever you are on the East Coast or West Coast. And we will see you again on another webinar sometime soon. Ciao for now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.